Hey, from the Philippines, Dumaguete, Philippines. I guess you could say it's good afternoon now. Yeah, I'm at my favorite spot. You know me. Walking, now it's time to get talking. See what everybody's up to, see what's going on, see who shows up. Hopefully my signal stays strong. I'm kind of walking a little bit, but another beautiful day in the Philippines, living life, living my dream, being happy. Beautiful skies, nice breeze. I apologize if the breeze is a little too much, if it affects the sound, the audio quality. But yeah, we'll see who we get here today. Oh, first would be Combat Medic. How you doing, Combat Medic? If you want to give me an update on the video and audio quality, that would be greatly appreciated. But good afternoon to you too, my friend. Thank you for being here. I didn't do a live stream yesterday, if anybody even noticed. Wanted to take a day off, took a break. Just needed to relax between doing my stuff and then watching all my friends on live streams and everything. Sometimes you get a little exhausted, and yeah, I just needed a break from myself. But I'm back after one day, but it was a good break. Still did my walking and exercising, but I just needed a live stream break. But we got Niels Christensen here saying hello Niels. How's the video and audio? I always appreciate when you guys give me an update. Should be all right. I'm in my famous spot here, and was thinking, what would be a good title for this live stream? And then I thought, you know what? The Philippines, and like embracing the Philippines culture. And maybe that would be a good topic of discussion. I can say for me, myself, after going on 14 months, in the Philippines, total time in the Philippines, I've definitely embraced the Philippine culture. So much to learn. Obviously, you guys know I love it here, and I'm happy every day, every morning. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, another day in the Philippines, never a dull moment. Happy as all can be. Took care of some business this morning, had to go to the immigration to get my two-month extension. I did the standard one where I saved myself some money instead of doing the expedited. So I went there this morning, immigration, Dumaguete City, filled out the little one-sheet paperwork. Not much to it. Was 1,960 pesos, which is $33.37 currently. So yeah, that's what I did. And then incorporated my walking in that, and already had myself a cup of coffee from one of my two favorite coffee shops. I don't want to say my favorite because I have two favorite. One's But First Coffee and the other one is Kohi. So made a pit stop at But First Coffee. Already drank that. Made sure I went to the bathroom beforehand, but still drank a lot of water. But you know how that goes. Coffee kind of goes through you. I think kind of like beer, although I don't drink beer. But once you break the seal, yeah. All right, let me go to some of my friends that are showing up here. Wanted to give it a little bit. I'll shut up now. But again, Combat Medic, welcome. Neil says hello. Welcome, Neil. Stowaway. Good morning, or actually said good afternoon, Stowaway. I feel like it's morning. But good afternoon, Stowaway. Thank you for being here. Welcome back. Yeah, I don't even think you guys noticed after one day that I was missing in action. But I was watching, I was on participating in everybody else's live streams. But sometimes I just think you get live streamed out. Too much staring at the screen and just too much. So I sacrificed my own live stream and just kind of participated in everybody's that I could catch. And you guys know those channels, you see me. But yeah, I was kind of just having live stream fatigue, you could say. Martin Manila Grill is here, says, hey, Michael, welcome. Neil says, I got the notification, but when I clicked it, I was not brought to the stream. I finally found you. That's kind of weird. Well, at least you got the notification. I don't know why it wouldn't work, but thank you for being here, Niels. Always appreciate everybody that sacrifices their time to hang out with me, which it's very humbling. Let me see here. In a little bit behind this pole. Neil says, AV is 5 of 5. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like I said, I kind of know that my spot here is usually really good, and I frequently walk here anyway, so it's kind of like, why not? I know it could be boring, the same location sometimes, but I'm outdoors and I know I trust this. Or I could sit in a coffee shop and I have Wi-Fi and I know it's good, but I'd rather be outside. David is here. Hey, good afternoon, David. If you have any updates, feel free to share. I'm assuming you're still in Tokyo, but I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're communicating with everybody. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to David Jessup, just because he's had some drama, I guess you could say, traveling from the United States to the Philippines. But I know at some point you're gonna get here. You're close. Sometimes you're so close, but yet so far away. But David, everybody's thinking about you. Everybody wants you here. Everybody's excited, as is we would be excited for everybody and anybody that's coming to the Philippines. You know, it's like exciting. It's always fun to hear about people coming from abroad to come to the Philippines, whether it's your first time, second time, third time. So again, David, just keep us updated whenever you want to let us know, but I'm glad you're here sharing in my live stream. John, who's a good friend of mine from Bacolod, John Gaver Villanueva. He's in Palawan, however people say it, I say Palawan, but he's down there. He's working at Starbucks. He's training people, apparently a new Starbucks down in Palawan, which I'm jealous, John. Are you on break, John, or are you just off? But God love you too, man. You're always sacrificing your time for me, and I appreciate that. Again, this is therapeutic to me, doing live streams. I get to hang out with everybody. Conversation's good. But welcome, John. Combat Medic showing the heart emojis. And then we got Dion Bryant. Oh, D-O-N-D Bryant, maybe? D-O-N-D. I see N-D, I think Notre Dame, but he says, boss, thank you so much, Dion D. Bryant. Where are you from, Dion D. Bryant? My name is Michael. I'm in the Philippines, Dumaguete, Philippines, to be more specific. And welcome to my live stream. Let me know where you're from. John says, where's Che? Che would be, she's going to visit her parents. They have, like I've told people, they have, her province is like 3.5 hours from here, give or take. It's Mabato Ayungin. And then they have like a house here as well in Kandawai. It's like 10-15 minute tricycle ride from here. So she's visiting her mother and family right now. And besides, I'm out walking. She likes walking, but not as much as me. I'm Michael Walker. Remember, I'm a little crazy sometimes, but that's where Che is. Neil says, when do you get your passport back? Today's December 3rd. They said December 11th. They said it'll be ready on December 11th, probably because of the weekend. And then, yeah, next week sometime. But yeah, I only paid 1,960 pesos, and that's perfectly fine for me. You know what I mean? That's excellent, great. So, yeah, like I said, I could get the expedited, but from what I've learned, the expedited is only probably important if you're cutting it close. Like my visa passport, I'm currently under, goes till December 10th. So my rule of thumb is kind of like 5 to 7 days, but 7 days, the sooner the better. That's how I played that. So 1960, $33.37. Neil says, David, where are you at, brother? David, Dan, what the heck? You guys, And then we got Niels says, welcome to Simple Life. You just became a member. You're my third member, dude. That is like awesome. I don't want to bounce around because I want to give David mad props for always sharing the love. David, you're a blessing. You're a humble, generous individual, and God bless you for everything you do for me, for everybody. I see it all the time. That's probably why it bothers me the most, why I feel bad that you've had such a journey getting here. But again, sometimes you just got to say everything happens for a reason. Most important thing is you're safe, you're okay, and I know you're going to get here at some point, but I always just reach out to God, not only for myself, but friends and people I care about, for that extra guidance when you're making trips such as this. So, David, God bless you for the super chat. Thank you so much. And Niels Christensen, thank you for being a member. You're number, I think, 3. Number 3. So if you want to be all green, just let me know. But I know people like being a mod because it helps find people. But I know David previously, he wanted to just stay green. So I don't want to take the green from the Green Beret. But thank you, Niels. I truly, truly appreciate you becoming a member of my channel. Again, all these experiences are humbling. And I know I can get carried away and babble on and on about stuff like that. But I've never experienced anything like this. YouTube has opened up so many doors for me. The biggest thing is the friends, the relationships, but the humbleness, the loving, it's generosity. It just blows me away. I've never lived, I've never had people other than my mother and father. I've never seen generosity from anybody outside of my mother and father. So it's like very humbling. So thank you, David. Again, thank you, Niels. God bless you both, and I'll never forget it. Never. David says, I'm in Hong Kong, U.S. Consulate General. Okay, like I said, David, you just keep us up to date. Let us know when you're coming. And again, the fact that I just like the fact that your generosity continues to shine and goes hand in hand with the person that you are through everything you've gone through. And you're always thinking of others. It's just, you give me strength, you give me hope, you just kind of shine a light on a lot of things that just let me know that there's so much more beauty in this world than there is, I guess, evilness, and there's just more beauty. And it's like, that's the minority. The majority are the beautiful people, and you as well as everybody else. It's just, thank you. And we got Dion Bryan says, prayers for David. Thank you for that very much. Yes, David's he's just a great human being. There's no other great man. Niels, you're a great man. Like everybody, like the people that you meet I just could go on and on. Niels said, yeah, I heard it's been an adventure for David. Yeah, it really has. Combat Medic says, I'm watching silently, brother. I got work to do, but I'm listening. Hey, thank you for being here. Like I said, even if it's simply to say hello, it takes time to do that. So I appreciate that when you do that. It's like definitely humbling. And yeah, just looking at this every day is humbling, beautiful, peaceful, nice air coming off the water. Very nice day. Let me get back to this. Oh, I don't like to sit because I'll cook my butt for one reason, but I prefer to stand. We got M.A. Lorna Pastrana says hello. M.A. Lorna Pastrana, thank you. Hello, where are you from? Lorna Pastrana, thank you for being here, taking your time to hang out on my live stream. Says a lot about you as a person, simply just to say hello. I love when people do that. John Gaver Villanueva says, I just woke up. I bought my lunch, then got the notification for your live. So yeah, I'm here. John, God bless you. You're one of the, I'd say quite honestly, I've had a few friends from Bacolod that I met in Bacolod, and you are the one constant, I think everybody's kind of from Starbucks, or my closest friends that But John, you continue to show up on my lives. You show me what our friendship meant, and I greatly appreciate that. And someday, John, we'll cross paths again. I wish it was in Palawan, because that's certainly a place that's on my list. But again, just you showing up here, it's humbling. You know, it makes me feel special. I don't look at myself that way. I just look at myself as just another person. But man, has the Philippines just opened my eyes to so many things and made me so much more happy. I could just go on and on and on and on about the Philippines and how my life has changed. And it was the best decision I've ever made. Best one I ever made. Dion Bryant says, you're from California, Lake Tahoe area. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm not sure if you're a subscriber or not. You may be familiar with some other channel, but thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You know, and I'd always do this to make life easier for people. Yeah, I gave you the blue jacket just because. And I already gave John one. I was just making sure who I haven't, but I know I get carried away with the blue jacket thing, but the blue jacket thing's cool. It's fun. It makes it easier for people to check out other people, to know, like, you know, if they have an account where they're making videos on it, and then you guys can do your due diligence. But thank you. Sorry if I'm not Dion Bryant. Thank you for being here, though. John says, but I'm closing shift later at 4:30 p.m. Always welcome. And then we got Jeff Bell here. He's from Toronto, Canada. Thank you for being here, Jeff Bell from Toronto. Have you ever been in my live stream before? Have you ever been to the Philippines? My name is Michael. I'm in Dumaguete, Philippines, in case you didn't catch that part. Sharing my journey, sharing my life, letting people know my experiences here, living abroad in the Philippines. Simply put, without talking forever, I love it here. That's the best way to put it. I'm happy every morning, but welcome, Jeff. Just curious. Ever been to the Philippines? Have any plans to maybe visit the Philippines? And then Neil's, I don't know how this works, sent one something simple gift memberships. That is freaking awesome too. And then I guess it looks like, man, it's so hard for me to read this because this light is so bright and this print is so small under Chief's name. I think maybe Chief is the one that got the gift membership. Maybe it was Chief. I can't tell, but I'm not sure. I can't see it. It's so small. My apologies. And like Dion Bryant says, Toronto in the house. But again, thank you, Niels. Bless you. You're a good man. A lot of people, I haven't really come across anybody that isn't good-hearted people that come into my live streams, or other people that are in other similar, they follow the same YouTube channels. You know, the community that's built here is unbelievably strong. And we all just simply get along. That's, like, to me, is the most important thing. Yes, we're all different. We all don't do the same things, but we have one thing in common or similar. We're either in the Philippines or we're striving to get to the Philippines. And that's the one thing. If we only had one thing in common, it's the interest in the Philippines, whether you're here or been here and not here, or maybe someday getting here. That's the one thing that we all have in common. And to me, that's pretty darn cool, if that's the only thing. But I know there's many more things. Neil says, hey, Chief, got the gift membership I bought. All right, that's what I thought. I couldn't see it. Thank you, Niels, for doing that. Generous, humbling, just God love everybody. You know what I mean? Like this, it's so nice to see just giving, sincere people. Like, I go on and on. It like I said, those things strike a chord with me, and I think it always will. And honestly, I hope I never get used to that. It's just a blessing. And I obviously tell my mother, when I speak to my mother and father 1 to 2 times a week, I always tell them how YouTube, Philippines in general, but then on the YouTube has changed my life. And I've met you guys. I mean, the most important thing in the Philippines is the people, but there's also the foreigners here that live in the Philippines. So you're part of the people equation as well. So it's just awesome. Manila said, Mike said David would be rappelling from a helicopter when he gets to Masbate. I guess I'll have to hold on into the water than scuba into the shore. I won't be outdone, David. Wow, that is going to be cool. Whoever gets video footage of that whole situation, which I'm assuming somebody's going to have video footage of that, that's going to be so cool, so awesome. And I can't say I've ever seen or heard anything like that before. So that's going to be awesome, Martin. Neil says, at David, Hong Kong, what? Did you get Shanghaied? LOL. Yeah, it was like Taiwan, I know, and then Hong Kong. I think those are his last two places that he's been. David Justice says, cool, Manila, I'll be there. Yeah, we're all looking forward to that, David. Again, we're all looking forward to it. Niels is laughing at Martin. Combat Medic says, much love and respect. Much love to you guys too, like for just being here. You know me, I'm kind of around this time, but it's hit or miss. And I'm just glad anybody who kind of shows up when I kind of just do it sporadically. You guys sporadically join, so thank you guys a lot. And M.A. Lorna Pastrana says, Las Pinas, Las Pinas. I guess that's where you're from, Las Pinas. I'm not sure exactly where that is. You might need to educate me, but I apologize. But thanks for being here. J-Boy says, hey, Michael. Hey, J-Boy. Thank you very much, my friend. You know the deal. Another beautiful day in the Philippines. Another beautiful day. I'm just happy to wake up every day and be able to enjoy this. I'm blessed. David says, yes, Niels, when I landed in Hong Kong, the Chinese government officials were waiting for me because of me being ex-military and flying out of Taiwan. Look at all the attention you get, David. I know that's unfortunate, but then again, it's kind of, for me to hear that, it's kind of cool. It shows your status, kind of like, and it's almost like a respect thing. But we know you're coming soon, David. We know you're coming soon. Where is Chief at? Although Chief God, I haven't heard a peep out of Chief. Where you at, Chief? It's light. Oh, Kuya Felipe says, hi, welcome back again. Did you change your name? I don't remember saying Kuya Felipe, but I know you because you're a moderator. So welcome back. Thank you again. And then we got Polo's Poems. Polo's Poems. Interesting story. Just subscribe. Nice to meet you. Polo's Poems. Very nice to meet you too. And I appreciate you subscribing. There's a lot to my story, and obviously it changes every day because there's always more to the story. But in my 13 months, going on 14 months total in the Philippines, because I did go home to the United States once, yeah, it's been a blessing here. The friendships I've made, the people, the local Philippine people that I've met. Again, I sound redundant to people that already know this, but when you're here in the Philippines and somebody says, Michael, what do you love so much about the Philippines? The first thing I say is the people, and it's the truth. I don't even have to think about it. It's the people, the comfort level you have here, the welcoming, how welcoming they are. They're always smiling. Kind of have the mindset having less is actually having more. Yeah, it's changed my life. But thank you, Polo's Poems, for being here and subscribing, and feel free to comment anytime you want. We're a community family here, and that's what I like to try and create. As far as my live streams go, and I think everybody else kind of wants the same thing too. Then we got Ben, my good friend Ben is here. Actually, I went to lunch with him the other day. He's from United States and Florida. He was is living in Cebu, but came down here for like a week to hang out and check out Dumaguete, and he met up with me, and yeah, he's a great guy. So if anybody, say hello to Ben. And that's another thing that's really cool. You meet people, no matter where they're from, who they are, locals, friends, somebody you meet through YouTube, and then you end up meeting them face to face here in the Philippines. It's so awesome. Humbling, again, another humbling experience. So yeah, Ben, I did get your message. Che is visiting her mother but I will reach out to her. Ben wants to go to meet for dinner later, and I would say that's very probable. But after the live stream, I will definitely get in touch with you, Ben. But thank you for being here. Oh, okay. Lornas Pastrana is in the Philippines. Okay. So that shows you how much I still need to learn, but Las Piñas, Pinas, where you're at, that's, I'm not exactly sure where that's at. Where in the Philippines you are, but thank you for being here. Thank you. I really greatly appreciate it. David Jessup says, I don't want it, just want a beer and beach or coffee and beach. You sound just like me, a brother from another, David. As long as the beach is included some way, somehow, ocean, that's why I'm here. I mean, really, like, as far as aside from the people in the Philippines, it's like, it's the obvious things. I need to be near an ocean. I love waterfalls. I love nature. That's why I'm here. And I certainly love warm weather, or I wouldn't be here. But yeah, David, yeah, I'm excited for you. I mean, it'll be such a sigh of relief, I'm sure, for yourself, but everybody else when you finally just touch down and you're in the Philippines and you're finally here, and it's like, then you can just chill out and relax. And I wouldn't want to travel anywhere after you get back. Well, once you get here in the Philippines. Let me see. Polo's poem says, looking forward to hearing more and seeing the firsthand experience. Is this a temporary displacement or full expat? Sorry for all the questions. You don't have to say you're sorry. Currently it's full. When I went back home, and long story short, came to the Philippines first time ever in Asia, July of 2024, only supposed to stay 2 months. Loved it so much, extended another two, and until March of this year, I had to go back to take care of some things. March 17th, actually, I went back to the United States, and then probably with less than a month, booked my plane ticket back to come in June 17th, around there. Came back, and or June 12th I came back, was in Cebu the 13th, came back, and I'm here for good. I'm retired. I'm living only on my pension and savings, and that's it. And I'm as happy as could be. I have no plans of going back to the United States. Only in the worst case scenario, something related to my mother and father with a health issue. Or, you know, I always joke, if my mother says, Michael, I miss you too much, I'm gonna buy you a ticket, can you fly home and see me? Then I'd maybe do it that way. But yeah, I don't have the money to be flying back and forth whenever I feel like it, certainly back to the United States. So yeah, it's more of a full-time expat thing. But no, that's a good question. Ask away. That's what makes these live streams good and interesting and fun. Ben says, sounds good. Polo's poem says, bro, also in America, someone making you say Las Piñas sounds like a bad joke. Yeah, I thought of that after I said it. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I know what I said, but you're right. Polo's poem said, amen to the ocean. That's the way I feel. Like I said, when I was living in Bacolod for 4 months, you're near the ocean, but you don't have anything that looks like this. Nothing to walk by. You can go as far down there as you want. You're always along the coast. And this beautiful boulevard, you know, with street vendors and stuff always going on, you don't have nothing like this. Like I always say to people, you'd rather look at this than my face. So, yeah, I mean, you just don't have anything like this. I can only compare Dumaguete and Bacolod. I know there's many other beautiful places. I have other friends here, foreigners, expats, that where they live sounds awesome. Me, I prefer like wherever I'm at, I need to be near the water, or at least within, like, I don't know, not far to travel to get to the ocean, but I can walk here every day. That's another thing about me. If you don't know, I walk everywhere. Love to walk, enjoy it. Feel so free, and breathing the air, blowing off the ocean right now. It just feels awesome. I love it. But I appreciate you being here, Polo's poem. See, I like it right away. you're already into the live stream. You're, being a part of it. I love that. Thank you very much. Ben says, I was behind you again there about an hour. LOL. I wonder where that was at. J-Boy with the educational geographical info here says Las Pinas, so funny to say, is a city in Manila. Thank you, J-Boy. Appreciate the education, because you know me, I need it. I'm always still learning. Sometimes I forget here and there, but I'm getting better. Sometimes I feel like I'm on overload, getting overwhelmed with a lot of info, but appreciate it, J-Boy. Someone always, taking care of business here. Polo's Poem says, really cool to hear. Thanks for a quick summary, inspiring. Yeah, like, I guess if you watch any of my other videos or you watch some of the shorts and stuff, you'll see how inspired and fired up I get about the smallest things here. But quite honestly, it's between the people, and then you go on hikes, and it's not the easiest hike to go on. And like you're climbing, and then you get to this beautiful waterfall, and you're just like, holy cow. It's kind of like, you're running a race and you're competing, although you're competing against nature, hiking. And then when you find, it's not like an easy man-made walkway. And then you finally get there, it's like, this is just awesome. It's like gold. You won the gold. Yeah, I get very emotional and fired up about things here. It's just me. I'm so compassionate, and I love sharing how I feel. And if it's just one person, just one that I motivate, that's great, because I was motivated by other people too. I did research on YouTube, found other YouTubers, and they motivated me to take the leap of faith and come here. So then I only feel it's right for me to kind of share my feelings, and they're not fake, they're genuine. I get fired up and talk a lot and stuff, so I felt like it was my responsibility too to inspire others as well. Let me see. Polo's Poem says freaking $1,200 tickets. Yeah, I think you can get them cheaper. Polo's Poems, I think obviously the further down the road you can get them cheaper. Now, I think the most expensive time of the year to get tickets is like when I got mine in June, July, and August, because it's vacation time. Like I said, I could be wrong, but from what I noticed, because I came back here in June, it was much more expensive for me to come here in June than maybe it would have been like towards the end of the standard summertime. And I'm born and raised in Pennsylvania, but lived in Florida also. I think maybe the summertime or their seasonal time here is maybe the most expensive, but somebody else might know more about that than I do. Because when I first came here, although it was July, I got my ticket it was under $1,000 round trip, although I didn't come back right away. I ended up staying, so I had to eat the other half of the ticket, which is fine. I loved it here so much, but now obviously when I came here, it was one way, and then I got like a throwaway ticket, because sometimes they want to know when you first get here if you're leaving or not, and I didn't end up needing it anyway. They didn't even ask for it. But yeah, just shop around Polo's Poems. I've heard people say, like when I was in Pennsylvania, if you fly out of JFK, New York, there was direct flights. And that's another thing too, like layovers. It's a long flight as it is, but if you can get more of a direct one and you're flying, economy, like the cheap ticket, it can take a toll on you. I mean, it's especially your first time, that's a long trip. But I have no regrets, well worth it. Ben said he was at Starbucks. And we got Mr. Dave here. I'm moderator now, so I'll reject any non-cuties in here. Oh boy. Don't be power tripping on me, David. I'm just kidding anyway. But Polo's Poems, just because I like you, you seem like a good person. I'm gonna give you a blue jacket too, if you know what that is. That way you can click on other people's channels, and if you're interested, you can subscribe to other people, or you just learn about them. Some people are YouTubers, you know, and some people aren't, but yeah, that'll give you that option. Just don't take advantage of your power. I'm joking, but we kind of all say that because I kind of make everybody blue jacket. J-Boy says, has it been hard to keep within budget, or has it been easy so far? Quite honestly, it's, for me, J-Boy, I'd say it's easy because I'm just good at budgeting. I don't allow myself, I knew what I was getting myself into, you know, between my savings and my my pension, which I don't want to talk about how much it is or it isn't. That's just private, but not saying you're asking. But my plan is to always save money, regardless, because you never know what you might need for this or for that. And again, I just recently turned 55, April 6th. My pension went into effect May 1st, and I knew what I was going to get from that, and I knew what I had in my savings. So I'm just like, this is it. This is how I'm going to do it, and I got to be smart and not get carried away. And I've always, for the most part, been pretty responsible when it comes to budgeting. Even when I lived in the United States, I prefer to buy my own food. And I mean, I can cook, but my girlfriend can cook, so I don't really have to worry about that as much. She prefers to do it because she wants to, but I'm a very self-sufficient guy that could always take care of myself. And you know, I like to go out to eat once in a while, but for the most part, I think I can, like, I believe in myself that I'm a fairly good cook. Obviously, Che is a good cook, my girlfriend, so it's smarter to just buy your own food and cook your own food. You can save more money. I think your food that you make for yourself is much better. Or if you can't cook, if you have a girlfriend, your Filipina can cook for you, and that food is much better too. Even if it's Philippine food, which she makes different stuff now. But I just think it's just smarter. And when you know what ingredients you're putting in everything, it's just prepared better, and you know exactly what you're getting. Even when I lived in the United States, I didn't eat out a lot. There's not many things I like that I feel like I need to go out to get it. I mean, I could cook everything at home. So that's smart in budgeting. And obviously home, like apartment rentals and stuff like that, you guys know all that. That stuff's a lot cheaper here, less expensive. So yeah, I don't feel any panic or anything like that. I just have to be responsible and not get carried away and be stupid. As long as I do that, J-Boy, I'll be fine. J-Boy says, LOL at Dave Traveled, Mr. Dave doing the hard work. David says, Mike, I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, 17 years old, and joined the Army, so I always loved the beach. I remember the first time I ever went to Santa Cruz, because if I remember correctly, that's in Northern California. I remember the first time I was there, and I think it was like April or May, and I remember going to the beach there, and I didn't put two and two together, but a lot of people were surfing at this particular beach. I just remember walking down steps. It was like rocks and then like a steep cliff to get down there. But I remember getting in the water to my ankles, and I thought I was going to go into hypothermia. Then I realized how cold the water is in Northern California. And then I met some locals there. I was there by myself. Just one friend, a girl that I knew. It was a friend of my brother's that lived in California. And but I had went to this beach by myself. And then I met some locals that noticed that this guy doesn't have a wetsuit on and he's gonna freeze. So they let me borrow a wetsuit, and they taught me how to surf. And I didn't learn the first day, but that was my first time. I did a little surfing in Florida, but when I was younger, but that was the first time I really did surfing. Did the boogie board and stuff, but yeah. And then like a couple days later, after I was in Santa Cruz, and I flew right down to San Diego, and the water temperature was like night and day. Now I like San Diego too. I was at Coronado. I like San Diego as well. But yeah, David, you can just tell, like, you have a lot of similarities to me. You're just like the beach and you love it. I don't mind. I know a lot of people hate the sand. I don't want it on my skin. I don't want it on my toes. Like, that doesn't bother me. I mean, is it helpful? Like, you know, I don't know if I've ever been to any beaches here where they have a place that you can rinse off, like a common thing, like these outdoor freshwater showers, like I'm used to in the US. But that kind of helps because I know the salt and the sand, when it dries on your skin gets a little tight. But I love salt water. It's like it's a natural healer. Polo's poem says, it's cool to hear when talking about your interest in the Philippines, you talk about the nature. A lot of expats, you'd assume something along the lines of, I feel more respected, taking in the beauty. Yeah, like, I think of what you're saying, you feel more respected. I definitely feel like I'm humble here. That's the best way I can put it. Like, with the people here, it's such a humbling experience because in the US, and I can only speak that, you're just another person. But when you're here as a foreigner, you're just, it's like they're happy to see somebody different visit in their country. They're very welcoming when it comes to that. In my experiences, they see you and they say hello. If I'm vlogging at times, like now, sometimes you'll have occasional people, they want to get in the vlog. They can tell that I'm doing a live stream, or maybe they just think I'm doing a video, I don't know. But I meet a lot of people that way. It's the people. Like, it's just so, and then you just throw in me being the nature guy, the explorer guy and all that. It's just perfect. And it's perfect for me. I don't know if the Philippines would be perfect for you or anybody else, but until you actually try it and do it, that's when you find your answer. It's good to take in other people's opinions and thoughts and experiences, but ultimately it comes down to the individual. I think I felt, I'm trying to remember when I first got here in July of 2024, when did I like really just feel like, wow, like I was like beginning to embrace the culture. Maybe the first few weeks or something like that. At first I was overwhelmed. I also had to adjust my time clock because it was like a 12 to 13 hour difference here. From Pennsylvania is where I was born and raised. I did live in Florida for 2 years though, but I was last in Pennsylvania. So it was like, lived in Pennsylvania, lived in Florida for 2 years, came back to Pennsylvania. So yeah, the first part was adjusting to the time change, but I think I did all right based on my other foreigner friends here. They thought I adapted rather quickly. I think what helped is when I arrived in the Philippines, it was nighttime. So like after all that travel, you feel kind of crappy. So the fact that I got here and it was nighttime and late, I think I took a shower. I was in Cebu, spent the night in Cebu before I came to Dumaguete. Just took a shower, maybe ate a little something, but you're fed really well on an airplane. Like, I didn't feel hungry at all. I actually enjoyed flying. Yeah, so in a perfect world, I wish I could have been first class, something to get your legs up, because man, your legs, you feel it gets tight. The circulation is awful when you're sitting on a plane for that many hours, and yeah, your legs swell up a little bit. Especially like in your lower part, like near your ankles and stuff. So it's always smart if you can somehow have your legs up, or you can afford something higher than economy. Again, it was my first time, so I didn't really think about the effects it would have traveling that many hours. But yeah, like back to what I was saying, I flew in at night, so it was late. So I kind of did whatever a little bit and went right to bed. And then I was kind of already in sync with the nighttime here, and then I got up, hopped on another plane, and Dumaguete I came, and that was my first trip. And then my second time back, it was the same thing. It just kind of worked out that way that I got here. It was even later. I think I arrived in Cebu at like 11 something at night. So that kind of helped get me adjusting quickly. Polo's poem said, why of the country is a good way of earning respect? I bet the locals appreciate that. Oh yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. And like I said, I felt welcomed here within the first day I was here and when I got to Dumaguete. But I felt welcomed even in Cebu. The hotel I checked in, the people were so hospitable, wanted to get to know me. Where you go, like they wanted to know about, I mean, they actually wanted to get to know me as a person. And yeah, sure, part of it is because I was a foreigner, but they meet lots of foreigners staying in their hotel, you know. It's just a different kind of appreciation that they show for people when they're coming to their country. And it's kind of hard to explain until you actually experience it yourself. But it's very humbling. Polo's Poem says, thanks, man. We'll wear the jacket with utmost respect. Hey, no problem. I appreciate meeting you. Sometimes, you know, I try to be good, be a good judge of character and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's like almost everybody I've met, they're all good people. You randomly get the trolls, but whatever, big deal. Trolls need friends too, you know what I mean? And there's no other reason why they'd show up here if they weren't looking for friends. And you know, what's the point? And it doesn't really bother me. Besides, I got so many people in blue jackets, they're gonna take care of business anyway. If they see something they don't like or inappropriate, they'll handle it. And I don't really, you know, I'm good. But thank you, Polos. Ben says the Philippines is like a box of chocolate. Exactly. And you know, it's like life is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're gonna get. But I can honestly say, even though you don't know exactly what you're gonna get in a box of chocolates here in the Philippines, 99.9% of the people I've ever met or come in contact with or interacted with here, they're all as happy as can be. They're as happy as can be, and they find good in everything, in any situation. And if they are dealing with something or having struggles in life, they certainly don't show it. They really don't. And that's what teaches me a lesson. It opens my eyes because, you know, me growing up, my own fault, conditioned to a different lifestyle, and you learn how to be patient here. You learn how to be thankful even more. Not that I was never a thankful person, but I think growing up for me, like, you just kind of take it for granted. We're here, it's just so humbling. It really is. It's just so hard to put into words to express the feelings, but every day I wake up blessed, blessing upon blessing upon blessing, and meeting people like you guys. I mean, that's the truth. Polo's Poem says, also, what I mean about above comments doesn't seem like you're there to intrude or show out. They're really there to really embrace and be myself. Maybe San Diego's sweet, spent time there as well over here. I'm a traveling nurse. Oh wow, so like you get to go everywhere. That's kind of cool. And you know, I've had friends that were traveling nurses. Very busy, pays well, at least it did then. I'm sure it does, and that's cool. You get to see all different parts of the world, and you know what I mean? My best advice to you, you're making good money, save your money. Sacrifice maybe some things along the way that maybe you'd be more inclined to buy, and just save it to put yourself in a better situation for when you do get older. And maybe, you know, I'm not asking, you don't have to tell us your age, but I'm just saying, like, I made some sacrifices for a couple years when I was working, and maybe hadn't I done that, I wouldn't be in the situation I was in now. But if I could go back and have a conversation with myself, I'd tell myself, Michael, do this, and do this. I'd tweak a few things maybe as far as saving money and budget and stuff, because I was young once and I was no different than a lot of people. No sooner I got it, I was spending it and everything else like that. And now I'm becoming so less materialistic than I ever was. Do I still like certain nice things? Of course, but I really don't have much now. I'd say the things I invest the most money in are my walking shoes. I walk miles, so it doesn't take much to beat them up, and I need comfort. So that's a worthwhile investment. I did bring some clothes here, but honestly, you don't really need to bring any. You can buy anything you want here, and it's a lot cheaper. I guess it depends on what you want, but give me t-shirts and shorts and I'm good, you know. Obviously I have my glasses, you know, those are important quality glasses. This is the only cap I have. I brought from home. I mean, eventually it's probably gonna fade and just deteriorate, but I like it. I would order another one if I could, but it doesn't ship through Amazon to the US, at least right now it doesn't, the company I buy these from. But I don't have maybe 10 to 12 t-shirts, 4 pairs of shorts, I know that for a fact, so many pairs of underwear and socks. That's it. You don't need a lot of that, especially if you want to be able to travel when you're here. And I'm in a totally furnished apartment, and I don't want an apartment where I have to, I don't want an apartment where I have to furnish it, because if you move, then guess what? You either got to sell that stuff, or it's just creating more work, and I don't want that. But anyway, sorry about rambling. But yeah, you travel and nurse, that's great. I know a lot of people that were they loved it. Brian's here. He says, afternoon, Michael. Insert name Brian here. Name here, Brian. Welcome, Brian. How you doing, my friend? David says, you were at Seacliff Drive by the old lighthouse. It's called Steamer's Lane. All right. You see, David, I think you're right. I loved it there. I mean, other than the fact my initial my feet, it was like hypothermia. But I learned something, and then it's like I said, I made friends. I make friends very easily. But I was just sitting there kind of minding my own business, watching all the locals. Surfing was so big, so cool. I was mesmerized by that. First time at that particular beach in Santa Cruz. And some of the locals, surfers, long hair, bleach blonde hair, they noticed me right away, and they came up and they just introduced themselves, asked me where I'm from, and they said something jokingly, yeah, the water's a little cold, and the other dude called me dude or bro, and they said, hey, you look like you're about my size, and we have a wetsuit if you want to borrow it. Have you ever done this? And then the rest is history. Then I made friends. That's why I think it was always never really hard for me, or I would never got uncomfortable. At least when I started getting older, I was okay with this venturing off on my own. I wasn't worried that I wouldn't meet somebody. It kind of always just happened naturally. And that's a blessing, that I could do that. But yeah, that's kind of cool now that I think about it, David. J-Boy says, good day, Brian. Brian says, don't worry, there are racists everywhere. Granted, it is rare, but I've run across at least one guy who didn't like foreigners. Yeah, and again, I'd say there are less than there are more. All my friends that I have are every race in the world, and there's that bug. I don't look at them anything other than we're all people, we're all human, and God created us all, and we're all, as far as I'm concerned, we're all beautiful. We're all beautiful people. We're all in the image of God, so. But you're right. Dave says, I'm excited to be back in America soon to eat Abraham's oil-free hummus from Whole Foods, maple syrup, candy, organic red leaf lettuce, and all the other yummy food I ate before. Yeah, and I've talked about this. That I miss my Simply. That's granola. It's called Simply. Not Simply Susan. Simply something, but it's organic. The sugar is coconut sugar. Has chia seeds. I miss my Bulgarian A2A2 yogurt. I miss my pumpkin seeds. Yeah, that was like my treat. My bowl of ice cream was eating yogurt with granola and honey on it as well. My frozen wild blueberries, organic blueberries. Yeah, there's certain things I miss, but I'm making do here. You know what I mean? The happiness and the things I do have here outweigh those little things. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss certain things, but not to the point where it's a make or break situation. But yeah, I know what you mean. The healthy, the good maple syrup, the best of the best raw honey that you can get. And yeah, there are certain things that I miss. Maybe next time if I do ship one of those containers like you guys have all mentioned, if I go back. Majority of stuff, I probably wouldn't fill it anyway, but it would probably be full of food that can, dry food, pumpkin seeds, my granola, big bags, my mushroom coffee, that would be another thing. But yeah, David, no sooner you go back to the U.S. though, I bet you're gonna start missing things about here in the Philippines, because it didn't take me long. Brian says hi to J-Boy. Polo's poem says good point. Not to say the respect you receive is a bad thing or a bad reason to be an expat. It is pretty awesome other cultures want to embrace someone choosing to leave or be of their world. And again, that's why, like I said, it's just saying it's all about the people is just simple for me to say that. Something simple. It's always funny. But it's like the people, and then there's like, it just branches off like the roots. And there's just so many things about the people that make this place special that I've never felt in my entire life. Never, ever, ever felt it. And it continues to be that way, even 13 to 14 months into my stay here, as long as I've been here. It continues to be that way. That's not to say someday I couldn't wake up here and do Maggette and be like, all right, I'm tired of it, I want to try something new. But I expect sometime soon, you know, if anybody's familiar with Gino and his channel and Michael White and his channel, like, I want to venture up in that area at some point, you know, near Boracay. And Michael White has a nice, interesting location where he lives. He's within walking distance of the beach. I like that kind of stuff where David's going. I kind of look forward to whenever that opportunity presents itself to get up that way, because those are the things I like. I know it's not easy to find like a location that would be perfect, but it's possible. You have to me, it's like, all right, what are the top 3, 1 to 5 things important? What are the lesser 6 to 10? What do I definitely need to have where I would live? And what can I do without? Ocean is first and foremost. Ocean. I need to be close to the ocean. That might sound petty to some people, but for me, it's like, why in the world would I be in the Philippines or on any island for that matter and live far away from the ocean? That's why I love Florida so much. That's why I live in Florida. That would be just hard for me to give that up. Where I lived in Florida, I was 8 minutes from the beach. I mean, the breeze from the beach, everything, the smell of the salt water. I'm just one of those salt weather beach kind of guys. It's just in who I am. It's in my DNA. Ryan says, I love the history there. Well, I'm learning a lot of the history from you guys. I do love the history, and that's another great thing. Polo's poems, and anybody new or listen, it's like there's a lot of intelligent people here in this live stream, in this community, maybe not here now. Fortune's another one. A lot of very educated people that know a lot. I get educated through my own experiences, and then I also get educated by these guys and gals. Like, there's people that know a lot. So I do get overload. I guess until you actually experience it yourself, then it really clicks and you're like, oh yeah, Brian said this, or David said this, or anybody, you know, there's always somebody that it rings a bell, it resonates with you because they told you. So yeah, you're gonna learn a lot from a lot of the people that are in here. And like you said, and the people, exactly. Polo's poem says, but to hear the first thing you say is, I love the hiking and talking to people seems authentic and speaks about your character. I believe you when it said it's humbling. I don't know any other way to be myself. You know, even when I got into this whole YouTube thing, and I hate to repeat myself, I apologize for anybody that's heard this before. Like, when I first got into this YouTube thing, it's like a little overwhelming, you're nervous, and like, you know, I didn't really get into the live streams until recently. And then when you're making videos, it's almost like you're thinking too much. And then it's almost like when you make video, when you go to edit, I'm watching this, I'm just like, in the beginning, this is like when I was first starting and learning, I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Like, you know, I'm like, and then I had to just tell myself, just be yourself, Michael. Like, just be naturally. That's what people like about you. You know, a lot of people have referred to me as genuine, as you know, authentic and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know what? That's just the way to do it. So I know I'm in here with you guys, and it gets easier each time because I get to know all of you as well. But yeah, you end up just going back to the person that you are. Not that I wasn't really who I was, but it's like you're thinking too much, especially if I did like a video interview with like friends or my girlfriend and her friend and stuff, and then I'm the interviewer. It's just, I guess I could do it more so now. Maybe I'm more used to just being myself. But you're thinking too much because you want to make sure, all right, don't forget this question, don't forget that question. Although if you do forget, yes, you can edit it out and just start over, and like you know, you don't skip a beat. But when you first start doing it, you're not thinking that way. So then you're like, I just don't think it rolls off the tongue naturally. So yeah, I've learned a lot in YouTube, and now with live streams, I just dig down deep within my feelings and just let it out. And sometimes, you know, it's like that old song, you talk too much and you never shut up. That could be me. That definitely could be me. But I get so fired up. And yes, the coffee, I had a cup of double espresso latte, that adds to my excitement. But listen, every day in the summer as a child, those were the best days of my life in Pennsylvania. Going to a public pool, going on vacation to a beach somewhere down south from, you know, Myrtle Beach to Florida. Those are the times I was most excited. And obviously summer is like the shortest time of the year for me when I was living in PA. Then when I lived in Florida, I was so fired up all the time. Yes, it got cold in Florida, and it's like they kind of did have like a mild kind of type of winter, but sometimes those cold fronts push down. Now here, when I'm exposed to nothing but sunshine and warm weather, along with rain season. But you know what? It rains, it's sun, it rains, it's sun. It's not that big of a deal. But this is where my energy comes from. The weather, the sunshine, and then all, like I said, the people, and then everything else is just like icing on the cake for me. So I'm like a kid all over again. I never thought, you know, I'd say the most exciting times as a child was probably when you believed in Santa Claus and you woke up and, you know, you got all these presents and like laying in bed thinking you heard Santa putting the gifts out. Like, that's kind of what that's the only thing I can relate it to. But it's like a million times better. And I know you guys get sick of looking at me, but this is where we're at. I know you can't maybe see, there's an island over there, Polish poems with Sikihor. I was just there last week with Che, and we plan on going back because there's so much to see on that island. It's just, you just get on a boat there, 30 to 40 minutes across the ocean. You can spend the day there and come back later in the night. I mean, that's how conveniently nice things are here. That's why I like Dumageddon. And then you can go another 2 hours to Bohol. But yeah, I get fired up. I do get fired up a lot. But I appreciate the what you said there, Polo's Poems. I am just myself. And it's very easily. J-Boy says trolls need friends too. Well, I'm being honest. I mean, you know, who knows what goes on in other people's lives? You know, you just don't know. And I always try to be the better person. I figure, you know what? Maybe there's something going on in someone's life that you just don't realize. And, you know, I've had stages in my life where I probably was bitter and stuff like that. And nobody to blame but myself. But I don't know. I always try to be compassionate, and who knows? Maybe something will trigger them, and whether it's me or somebody else here in the live stream or video that can make somebody, you know, happier. You never know. I mean, look, I mean, I know what happened to me. Not that I wasn't happy before getting here, but happiness here is on a whole other level. Whole other level. But I'm glad that made you laugh, J-Boy. Art Park is here. What's happening, dude? Art Park, I'm great. I'm glad you're here. How are you doing today? That's what I like to say. And we got Che here. Che says hello, everyone. Che, if you don't know, is my girlfriend. Everybody can say hey to Che. Polo's Poem saying J-Boy made me laugh too. Nice guy. I mean, I don't know. I just try to be nice. You know what I mean? I don't want to have an evil bone inside my body. Do I get upset or do I have bad days? Of course. I'm not perfect. But those situations happen far less here in the Philippines than they did when I was back home in the States. So I don't know. Something's changing me. So, but I appreciate you guys finding the humor in it. It is it's funny. Brian says they are trolls for a reason, mainly attention seeking, I think. Yeah. Yep. And hey, if they're willing to hang out in my live stream, hey, I guess that's nothing but beneficial to my channel. But I know you guys take care of things, so I know I'm in good hands with you guys. Graham says, Michael, hi, good afternoon from Australia. Graham, welcome back. I remember you. I remember you subscribing and coming to my live stream all in one day. It's pretty good. I remembered that. Like I said, it gets tough. It gets very tough to remember sometimes because, you know, the blessings of meeting all you guys. So thank you for being here. Yes, it is an awesome community. You experienced that rather quickly and you added to the good community. So thank you, Graham. And I think you're the only Graham I know. So that's easy. That helps too. But thank you, Graham. Hope all is well with you in Australia. Brian says, waves in Chay's general direction. Yes. I like seeing, that's another thing. Everybody always says hi to everybody. That's the blessing. It's nice to see. It's good. It's a humbling experience for me to just see everybody just be friendly and say hello to each other and just be happy. Chay says, hi, hey, J-boy, oh boy. Yeah. He's yeah, that's kind of like J-boy, oh boy. You got the little rhyme going on there. N.A. Chase says, Brian, how are you? Brian says, good, thanks, and you? She says, I'm good. I guess she's still at her mother's in Kandawai. Graham says, Che, hi, if you're there with Michael or watching. Yeah, Graham, she's at her mother's on her mobile device. I think she's sewing a pair of my shorts too. They accidentally got a hole in them. And they're like brand new shorts. I brought my favorite, very durable Billabong shorts. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the surf brand Billabong, but I'm very biased towards Billabong, especially if you get the kind of like the all-weather shorts where you can actually wear them as a bathing suit and they don't retain water. Love Billabong shorts. Those are the only ones I have here. Well, hopping on my friend's motorbike, Kent, who we hung out when we did that, went to the Philippine Fiesta party at his house, getting on his motorbike. I don't know what I caught my leg on and something just made like a snagging noise, but I just thought I got caught on something, then later found there was a hole in my shorts. I was like, oh no, my Billabong shorts are the hole. So Chay's taking care of sewing it. So yeah, Billabong shorts, I am very biased and like preach about their shorts being the best. Comfortable, light, breathable, and like I said, they can get saturated wet and they dry very quickly. They don't retain water. Polo's Poem says, what type of ball cap is it? It's a company that I found and I always forget it. But I'll make sure to remember the next time. I think it's called Kings and Fifth or something like that. But this guy invented these, it's the trucker style hats. Well, if you're familiar with most trucker style hats, unless you just have a big head, most people don't, the trucker style hats sit really high. Now I have it sitting kind of a little higher on my head because of my glasses, but it fits like a fitted smaller ball cap. So it has the mesh, this is faded, but he started this company where they're more, now it's like got the regular strap on the back that you set, but I like trucker hats because they're very breathable with the mesh, but the ones that you just standard, they're huge, like the front here is like, would be way up here. You just look like you got this huge, I don't know, alien-like cone head. So when I come across this guy's hats, I was like, wow, these are cool, I should buy them. Of course, they're expensive, they're not cheap. I bought one and I've worn it ever since and I don't take it off. I've washed it by hand a couple times because it's faded and sometimes if you sweat, it gets a little sweat mark. But if you use detergent or whatever, even like soap detergent in a sink and just get a brush and scrub it and rinse it off, it dries up, it goes away. Love these hats. Only problem is when I look up, pretty sure it's called King and Fifth. I'll remember for the next time, but I looked on Amazon. When I searched on it, it showed as if they had it, but they didn't have this trucker style hat. So yeah, this is my only hat. I don't plan on buying another one unless this completely falls apart, but I love my cap. And actually some local Filipinos, they would see my hat and they say, oh, nice hat. I'm like, well, for old and beat up and faded, I said, thank you. But yeah, it's very comfortable and I like it because it doesn't have the huge dome on it. Brian says, Good to hear you at your apartment. You asking me, Brian, if I'm at my apartment? Or I'm not sure. My apologies. Weena Jumps is here. Hi, Weena. She says hi with the heart. And then lovely, I remember you. Yeah, I need to take care of you too. I'm making you blue. I had forgot, but welcome. Lovely SSZ. Thank you for being here. Hope you're well. Weena, I hope you're well. Thank you for popping into my live stream, supporting. As always, you guys are the best. Brian says hi, Weena. And then Brian says, good, Michael, thanks. Polo's Poem says, anyways, I'm hopping off soon. It's late where I am. Of course, I appreciate you being up this late. Look forward to joining more lives and hearing more about your experience. Don't forget to tell me about your ball cap. You may need more. Yeah, I am going to need more. I will let you know. And hey, anybody, if you go to my bio in my YouTube and you want to reach out or just chat outside of YouTube, I have my Facebook link, which everybody in the Philippines uses Facebook for Facebook Messenger to communicate, and my Instagram, which is a very small account, but you can communicate with me also on there. So for instance, Polo's Poems, if you want to chat, reach out to me. You got the Facebook link in my bio of YouTube, and you got my Instagram. So feel free. And thank you, Polos, for being here. Appreciate it. Great to meet you. Looking forward to seeing you again. And then our buddy Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Steve Irwin is here. What do you think of controversial touchy-feeler, boy, pro-life traveler? Can I plead the fifth on that? I've only ever seen him like once or twice here in Dumaguete. He's doing, all I'm gonna say is he's doing very well for himself. That's for sure. He vlogs every day, every single day, I think. I don't watch a lot of his stuff. Sometimes it just comes up in my feed. But yeah, I plead the fifth. Good for him. Hope he has continued success. And yeah, sorry, Stone Cold. Polish Poem says, Stone Cold Steve coming in with the hot questions. Sharice says, hello, Michael and Che. Sharice, Washington State, thank you. I knew I wasn't gonna screw that up this time, but welcome, Sharice. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. It's getting late, but I still appreciate you being here. Dave Traveled says, you can put a sock or something on your phone to block the windows. Oh boy, you know what? I'm gonna turn this way and it'll definitely block. My apologies, you guys. I didn't know that. I have a sock on my foot, Dave, so I'm not taking the sock off on my foot. So I turn it around. Hopefully that's better. My apologies. Insert Brian says, I do find Filipinos very warm and welcoming in general. No doubt, no doubt. Det says, hey, Michael, hey, Det, what's up, my friend? What's your plan for Noche Buena? What is Noche Buena? You're gonna have to educate me. Oh boy, you're gonna have to educate me, Det. Maybe for the day, maybe that's what that is. You guys are teaching me the language. Brian says, I know 3 different communities of Filipinos here and the differences are interesting. Yeah, I only know the differences between people here in Dumaguete and then in Bacolod. Language is definitely different. Personalities are a little different. I wouldn't say like in a bad way. I just met a lot more people, locals here in Dumaguete than I did in Bacolod. Now the ones I did meet in Bacolod, one of them was just in here earlier. He's now in Palawan, but he's Filipino, works at Starbucks in Palawan. I guess they're opening up a new Starbucks and he was training people. He's a good friend. Like I have good friends. I just had more of them here and more, I didn't even initiate them. It was the locals that initiated the relationship, the friendship. That's the only differences I know. And traffic-wise, although Bacolod has traffic lights, I think the traffic's just crazier there. More people for starters. Obviously, that makes a difference. But here, for me and Che, Now, Mr. Dave hasn't had the same experiences as me in Dumaguete. No matter where I'm at, whenever I got to cross the road or the street or wherever, they slow down for me and Che. It always seems like that's a pedestrian thing here, that they're like, they always slow down. Bacolod, it was like I was in the middle of a game Frogger and I might as well just close my eyes and walk out in the street, because I'll never get across the street. And they were just much more aggressive and like almost as if you would think you were invisible crossing the street. That's just the way it is, a different mindset. Very similar to the United States, kind of in a way. You don't really see road rage here in Dumaguete. It's kind of like people just, in the US it would be taken as cutting people off, but here everybody just kind of accepts it and nobody gets angry. And not to say there isn't somebody, maybe I haven't seen it yet, but, or actually I did for the first time last night. I have to admit, I was with Ben and this younger guy, Filipino, and this older guy got close to hitting each other on a motorbike, and the older guy got pretty upset. I don't know what he was saying, but you definitely could see he was upset, and that's right. That's one of the first times I've ever noticed that. I was with Ben. My friend Ben, who's in the live stream, he's here from Cebu. How are you, sir? Everybody always waving, saying nice, saying hi. See, I love that. Dave traveled. I'm in the Muslim part of Indonesia. The people are nice. It's dirt cheap. Dating could be amazing, but it's not fun here like the Philippines. See, Dave, you've been everywhere, though. You kind of know the deal. I got to move up here. This truck's kind of loud. You kind of know the deal better than me. Dave traveled, definitely goes with your name, because you traveled to a lot of places, more than me. But that's, good to hear that you like it more than you like the Philippines more than there. Combat Medic says, it was amazing listening to you, bro. I'm going to be away from Wi-Fi, so thanks again for your amazing live stream. Combat Medic, I always appreciate you being here as well as everybody, but appreciate the nice comment, and look forward to seeing you again. Yeah, it's just me and you guys, the authentic, genuine live stream, and just letting it flow, letting my energy flow out. But take care, Combat Medic. We'll see you again soon. Dave says, Siquijor is nice, but it's not as special as Camiguin. Probably not, but I won't know until I get there. But he says, but I guess Camiguin doesn't have a good location for you, far from Che's family. But that doesn't mean someday I don't visit there. Someday. Brian says, one has grown from OFWs and is very cliche-oriented. One was primarily Filipinos married to older Aussies, and most have pretty poor English skills, as I do not want to mix with Aussies much and always speak Filipino, never develop their English. The other one was primarily OFW families, and that one is awesome, a real community who support and socialize. See, that's interesting to know. See, again, you're going to get educated here. You got Brian. I mean, there's a lot of you guys know a lot more than me, which is great. So I'm educated at the same time I'm doing my live stream. And another one is Fortune. Fortune really knows his stuff. I'm just reading yours again, Brian, but so you're saying Aussies most have pretty poor English skills, and they're not mixed with the Aussies. Oh, never mind. The Filipinas. Now I'm following you. Sorry about that. Yashas is here. Hello there. What's up? How you doing, Yashas? How's the artwork? How's the schoolwork? How's life? Taking care of business, Yashas. That's what I always got to say. Making sure you're taking care of business. I don't want to corrupt you and get you in trouble for not getting your schoolwork done. Brian says hi to Yashas. Yashas says hello, everyone. J Boy says hey, Det and Yashas. Yashas with the waving, friendly little Stay Puft Marshmallow dude that looks yellow, waving. Polo's poem says, I lived out in Seattle for a while doing the travel nurse thing. Where you are at now reminds me of the culture in some parts there. Lots of ferries to different islands. Yeah, and that's another thing I like about here. It's very easy for me to get to these boats. I could walk to there. Everything's close. Do I prefer a town-like, city-like location? And ultimately, no. But it's very convenient for me right now to not feel like I'm totally smothered in a city. Like I said, it's like a small city, but it reminds me more of a town. And as much as I'm along the water and I'm walking, I don't feel like I'm in a city that much. And like I said, I have the options to get away. So it's much more beneficial for me to do stuff here than I was limited in Bacolod, because I don't have a motorbike or a car either. I have no desire to have either or right now. So that's another thing I needed to take into consideration as far as where I'm going to live. How am I going to get around? What am I going to do? Is things close enough? I mean, yeah, I could take a tricycle. It's not that expensive, but I didn't want to get like up in Valencia. Valencia is a beautiful area, but it's further away. It would definitely be, I could walk it, heck yeah, but that's really, really far. J-Boy says you should make a t-shirt merch out of that. That's a great line. Trolls need friends too. Maybe that's something you guys can look into. I never really gave it a thought, but that would actually be kind of funny now that I think about it. I'm sure I'm not the first person that's ever said that, though. I'm not sure where I ever heard it, but it just popped into my head. Polo's poem says, I know the island communities there were probably vastly different from where you are. Oh, yeah. Vastly, vastly different. Dave asked, did you rent a scooter in Seahor? Nope. Just took a tricycle from the port to the Little Boracay Beach. Took 15 minutes most. Cost $350 a person for the round trip, so it was $700 total for a round trip. Guy dropped us off, same guy came back later, and it worked out perfect. Yeah, Siquijor would be a definite place to learn, rent a motorbike and learn over there. But being that we were only staying for the day, I didn't want to go the hassle of renting it, getting everything done, going somewhere where I didn't exactly know where I was going, because we're only staying there for the day, and then like have to worry about coming back and dropping that off. I just took the easy way. Brian says, yeah, Polos, I am talking small country town Australia. And see, that's another thing. A lot of people from Australia, like the people you meet, UK, Ireland, obviously United States, Canada, we had the Toronto. Yasha says, everyone make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, Yasha. You're always doing that, taking care of things. I appreciate it. Yeah, anymore. I used to say that, but I forget. And I figure if someone likes it enough, they'll like it. If someone wants to subscribe, and then, like I said, we all become friends, then they do it. Polo says, gosh, I probably will be asleep by the time you read my last messages. I hope you went through them quickly. I will spam if I'm still awake when you read them. LOL. Looking forward to talking more. All right, I'm going to speed up. Sorry, my friend. J-Boy says, Brian, if the Aussies have karaoke at the pub and parties, the Filipinos would blend in. Polo's poem says, look forward to talking again. Yeah, Det says, hi, JB. Yasha says, it's always amazing talking with you. Love you, everyone. I'm happy to be in this live stream. Well, I'm happy you're here. J-Boy says, Kamusta Det. Kamusta ka means how are you? And then I know if you say tabuti or dabuti, tabuti, something like that, that means I'm good. I was laughing about that earlier. Brian says, J-Boy, small old towns sometimes do karaoke, but all three communities tend to socialize, but just tend to those trends in general. I am accepted in all. I am one few Aussies who take the time. See, that's awesome. Very awesome, Brian. Bug, leave me alone. Lovely says, thank you, appreciate it, no problem. Giving her a blue jacket. Brian says, no, Mike, I was just asking Che where she was. Oh, no big deal. Anything you want to ask away. You know, you guys are free to say whatever you want, ask whatever you want. Brian says, socialize amongst themselves. J-Boy says, Brian, maybe they are shy because they're English. I know Che was like that. I know a lot of them are. they're usually better in their English than they think they are, so they're insecure about it. Yasha says, everyone make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. Lovely says, double tap the screen, like and subscribe. Thank you, Lovelies. Appreciate it. Yasha says, let's go, guys. Lovely says, #1. And the YouTube emoji. Brian says, J-Boy, I think that there are reasons why the Filipino wives in the second community tend to group together, is that they are viewed as outsiders by the small town mindset, so the safety in numbers comes. Once again, educated. Yasha says, Lovelies, I subscribed. You, J-Boy says, Noche Buena is the traditional Filipino Christmas Eve feast typically celebrated on December 24th after the midnight mass. Well, I do know that Che and I were invited by my friend Kent, the same Filipino who invited us to my very first Filipino fiesta. He invited us Christmas Eve for a party again at the same location. So we'll be there. Hopefully I can live stream and it'll be a better experience. Although the 5G wasn't cooperative over there, and the Wi-Fi, there were just too many people on it. So, okay, now I know. So yeah, invited to that. That'll be my first Filipino kind of Christmas party too at someone's house with a bunch of other people. So that'll be fun. That'll give Che and I something to do. Det says, all is good, my friend J-Boy. Yesterday is a holiday, no work. Tulag Malala. Lovely says, okay, Yasha, so I'll subscribe you back then. Appreciate you guys all subscribing each other. That's awesome. Insert says, into it, so they group together, and that also suits their husbands, as there's quite a bit of old-fashioned Aussie misogyny going on. Oh boy, that's an oh boy. Lovely says, Yasha, so I subscribe to you too. Brian says, so the women tend to be shy, which that explains that. J-Boy says, that makes sense, Brian, exactly. Yasha saying, Lovely's with the heart, Lovely's heart and back. J-Boy says, and I'm trying to roll through these because I know, like, I tend to talk too much. J-Boy says, sleeping on your day off sounds good to me, that. Lovely's is taking over business and saying, don't forget to hit that like button, support the channel. Appreciate it, Lovely's. Det says, J-Boy, yes. Yasha's saying, what did everybody eat? I ate my typical breakfast. Angus burger patty, thick Angus burger patty, cooked, juicy but well done, no pink. 3 to 4 eggs, scrambled, and like 2 pieces of sourdough bread and a banana. That was my breakfast lunch. Gino's here, says, good afternoon, Michael, Dazzle TV. Anybody not subscribed to Dazzle? Subscribe. He has a very good channel. I think very highly of him, and he's a good person. And besides, if you're not subscribed, you'd be doing me a favor, because I think he's a really good person. Well, I know he's a really good person. I don't think that, but he lives up in an area that I got to visit sometime. Someday, hopefully. But thank you, Gino, for being here. It looks like I'm getting caught up, which just is good. My brother from another, that's Gino. Thank you, Brian. Mabuti. Mabuti is, I'm doing good. I was joking like that with Che, because I said Mabuti is like someone going, my booty, my booty. And we were having fun with that. She actually taught me that this morning, because I was always saying, kamusta ka? And she says, my booty. I'm like, what's going on? What do you mean your booty? And then it was just funny. So yeah, I learned that today, my booty. Det says, Tagalog word for water is pronounced too big falls. Yep. When I went to the first waterfall, I went to in Bacolod. It was called Pulang, Too Big Falls. And at first I didn't know what too big meant, water. And then I was like, Too Big Falls, waterfalls. Makes sense. Det says water equals too big. J-Boy says that party would be your first Noche Buena. Yes, my first, and I'm looking forward to it. Che and I already locked into it. Here we go, stone cold with we can drop in the intel. King and Fifth has some great caps. Is yours a dry fit? Once it's written on the top of the peak of the cap, around $30 US is okay price. Yep, that's it. Yeah, mine, like I said, has the mesh and the plastic strap on the back, but this is the one I wanted. And yeah, I think it's like a dry fit. But like I said, once you sweat so much here, and it's faded, it's dark brown or underneath, but it's like you get a cap, you like it, you don't care how much you wear it, how much you beat it up. You just, like I said, I love this, and you're right. Thank you for looking that up, kingandfifth.com. And like once you watch the videos, the guys are just like, they're on it. I don't know anybody that makes a trucker's hat that's more fitted like this. Now there's different types, so you don't have to have the trucker style, but they all fit similarly, you know, especially the trucker hats, not that big bulk. I mean, if I pull this down, it's like right on my head. Like the other ones you'd have to pull would be over your ears, like to fit it on your head, and I didn't like it. So when I saw this, I don't know, I think I found it on Instagram or something, checked it out, bought it, my favorite hat. Thank you for checking that out. Stone Cold Steve, appreciate it. There you go. Yeah, and it is okay. I mean, it's to be expected price-wise in the U.S., but that's definitely something I want to get another. I'm always looking at them because I like kind of different colors. I mean, sometimes I think white, but white's great in the sun. I probably wouldn't get black, all black. I did, like I said, I like this brown one, tan. Well, it's definitely faded though. Yasha says, J-Boy, I subscribe to you. Dry Tech, not Dry Fit. Yeah, I think it is the Dry Tech. I even think it did say it somewhere. It was here maybe, or here. I can't see it, maybe you guys can, but pretty sure that's what it was. But thank you for looking that up. Appreciate it. Mr. Tragic, I remember you, Mr. Tragic. Makes sense. I don't know what you're asking makes sense, question mark. But welcome here anyway. Double tap the screen. Thank you, lovelies. J-Boy says, do you find eggs in the Philippines taste different since they are fresh if you buy them from the market? I don't find them to taste any different. I did have a lucky situation. One time I went to a public market here. I bought 30 eggs, large, for 300 pesos. And when I got home the next day, or I think I had some eggs left to get rid of first. And then when I got to the 30 in a batch all together, first one I cracked open was a double yolk. I was like, wow, how cool is that to have a double yolk? That doesn't happen often, you know. Usually you get one every so often. And I cracked the next one because I eat 4 eggs. Cracked the next one. Another double yolk. I was like, what are the chances of that happening? Another double yolk. Well, needless to say, all 30 of those eggs ended up being double yolk. I was making like shorts on my Facebook, the story, and putting how another 4 eggs double yolk, another 4. And when I went back to that public market here, and it was in Dumaguete, I told the woman, I said, you know, they were all double yolks. I said, every single one of them. And then people were like, man, that's got to be some sort of luck. You need to play the lottery kind of thing. But so speaking of eggs, yeah, that was the wildest thing. I mean, I bought eggs in the U.S. You get 1 double yolk every, whatever, few years. All 30 of those eggs were all double yolks. So I basically got 60 eggs for the price of 30, if you really think about it. But no, I don't find them to taste any different. Gary Buckingham's here. Gary, this is his name channel, but he also has his channel, Always Be Prepared. If anybody's interested, that's his channel. It would make it easier if he was, Gary, if you were under your Always Be Prepared, and they could just click on it. When they have a blue jacket, which I give it to everybody, because that way it's easier for everybody just to click on the blue and it takes you right to your channel, and then you can subscribe to the channel. But I'm doing great, Gary. How are things going with you, my friend? You know me, walking, now I'm talking, doing my live. Skipped one yesterday. I needed a break. I was getting live streamed out. You know, I do mine and then I watch a bunch of other live streams, so I kind of get pooped. I needed a little break, but I appreciate you being here, Gary. Weather's great, beautiful day, as you can see. I always have a great signal here with my data, so I know I'm safe if I want to be outside doing a live right here. J-Boy says, thanks, Yashas. I have no content. Subscribe back, dude.
You guys are great for just doing that. The Blue Jackets make it easy. Det says, if you want to sound polite, just add po at the end of every sentence. Example, thank you, po. Can I have water, po? Salamat, po. How much, po? So I'm gonna have to start saying po. Thank you, po, like salamat, po. Water, po. How much, po? I like that. And I've seen people use the word po, but you're educating me again, so thank you, Det. I just have to start like putting that in the brain and keeping it there. In other words, I gotta start saying it more. The more you say things, obviously the more you remember it, and that's my fault, so I need to stop being lazy and do it. Yasha says, at Lovely, what's in your logo, bro? He has a lot of cool artwork. Lovely says, what you mean logo? Maybe it's like your picture, your image, and your, you know, your emoji-like thing. I think that's what he means. J-Boy says, that's crazy. The whole cartoon, the whole carton was double yolk. Exactly. And I was sharing that with people on my Facebook. I couldn't believe it. And I kept saying, there's just no way this next one I crack's gonna be double yolk. All freaking 30 of my eggs were all double yolks. And I think even Gary, I was telling everybody, I just couldn't believe it because I just kept thinking, all right, I'm at egg 12, there's no way. And it just continued till and then I got to the very last one, I'm thinking, this will be the one that's single. Nope, every one. Che was like in awe, like it was just wild. Yasha says, see, I also have a logo everyone have. Your logo isn't, I don't think everyone has what you have. Yours is different. Lovely says, don't have one. Well, yeah, there's like a little picture, like to show on in your image, Lovelies. There's an image, and I guess your avatar. There you go. Thank you, J-Boy. Your avatar is what I meant. Yeah, that's it. At Lovelies, I like your logo. Oh, so they're complimenting you on your avatar, the image that you have in your account. Lovelies, I guess that's what they're asking you about. But anyway, she says, oh, okay, I get you. Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. So where are we at? I don't know. I'm at the bottom of these. Anybody have anything else they want to add to the live stream? Like I said, my main topic today was just in general, like the Philippines, and again, everything's a blessing. I'm fired up, inspired every day, every morning to do this. I just am. I'm blessed to wake up every day and be here and know that even just the simplest things of me, I get excited. I'm going on my walk. I'm going to see lots of people. I'm going to see lots of smiling faces. I'm going to see people saying hi to people that I have already said hi to that I don't know on a conversation basis, just to say hi. And those same people see me. They say, hello, sir, or they'll say, vlogger, vlogger, vlogger. And they're smiling and laughing. But, you know, I feel comfortable walking here. I always am by the water somehow, some way. Drinking my water, get a drink of coconut water at a place by Unitop over here. Obviously hit up my coffee. Just everything. I can't say how blessed I am. And again, we had some new people here today. I don't know if they're still here, but if you ever have the chance and you've never traveled outside of your own country or that far away, and you're looking for a new and different experience, and you financially can afford it, health-wise you can do it, just do it. Don't talk yourself out of it. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Don't talk yourself out of it. Gary says, your video on Siquijor was very good. I appreciate that, Gary. Do more videos like that. I plan on it, and Siquijor will give us plenty of opportunities because there's so many places to go and see there. And it's so convenient if you only want to do a day. Depends on how far you go within on the island. But a majority of it, you can make a day trip of it. You just pick a time on one of the earlier boats. You can go the first one, second, third, and then wherever you're going to go, then figure out how many hours, if it's a sunny day, where you want to be. And Che and I took like the middle time boat from here at the port. We're there in no more than 40 minutes. Get off, got on a tricycle for 15 minutes, dropped us off at the beach, and we hung out there, and it was absolutely beautiful, and it was fun, and it was just, I'd never been to Little Boracay. She's never been to Siquijor at all. I let Che kind of be the one, like, learning how to navigate through the ticket, the place you go get your tickets, and I just let her be responsible, and so that way she can learn it. I already did it before, so I wanted her to experience that in case, you know, who knows, if she ever needs to go there with friends or something, then she knows what she's doing. But I love it over there. So I think next we're going to do a waterfall, Gary, or not. It won't be like a waterfall like we went and saw when we were in Bacolod. It'll be like, I think it's going to go back to that one, Kumbahaya or Kumbahaya, could be pronounced a different way, but at least there, it's like a big swimming hole. Like the water's cooler. The water was very warm at Boracay, Little Boracay. I mean, I like a little cooler water. Maybe if I would have swam out further, probably would have gotten a little cooler. But the water was very, very, very warm. Like, I like a little refreshing. And if I remember correctly, when I went to the one waterfall, even the one we went by, although we weren't swimming in it, it's just cooler. And there's more of a swimming spot here in Siquijor at this Kumbahaya falls. So I think we're definitely going to do a waterfall next. And yeah, we're gonna shoot video there, and I'll edit it up, and hopefully people enjoy it and will watch it and like it. And yeah, just sharing my experiences. But I appreciate that you liked it, Gary. It means a lot coming from you, and I know you're gonna give me constructive criticism and be honest. I want people to say, the video sucked or it was good, you know. So hopefully that gives me a little boost with the channel, you know, making videos, because you need to do videos, like, at least from what I'm learning. You can't just rely on live streams if you want to have a successful channel. Stop the Lightning, that's a very cool name. Stop the Lightning says, you look like you fish good. Well, I have been fishing here before, Stop the Lightning. I appreciate you being here. Where are you from? When I was living in Florida, I would go on boat trips. I didn't have a lot of fishing experience, didn't have my own rod or bait or nothing like that. You pay an amount and you just drop your line in the ocean while you're on the boat and you fish. And the first time I ever went on my first boating trip, I got lucky once again. I think it was $5 per person on the boat who was fishing. Whoever caught the largest edible fish before returning to the port. It was an total 8-hour boat trip. Now, you weren't out at sea 8 hours. It was like an hour to get where they took us and then another hour back. So it was like 6 hours. But I caught a fish, and I think it was called a grouper, something like that. But I ended up, and they had to, like, so many people were catching edible fish, so they had to cut with the knife into the fish a certain marking to differentiate so everybody knew whose fish it was. When I caught mine, I mean, it felt bigger than what it was when I pulled it out of the water. I knew I had something because I felt something tugging on it, and then I just went like that, yank, because they always say yank, and then I reeled it in, I got it, and you know, it was like this, I can't show it in my head, but it was pretty big, but it was like real flat. And then I said, is this edible? Because I caught other ones before that, they weren't edible, pretty fish, but they weren't edible. And they said, I'm pretty sure they said this was a grouper or groupie, something like that. I can't remember. And then they marked it and threw it in the ice chest. Well, I completely forgot about it because I was having so much fun. By the time we got back, this guy that was giving you the bait for your hook, and actually the fish that I were catching that weren't edible, they would cut it up and I'd use those fish for the bait, or they had shrimp also that you could put on it. But anyway, fast forward, he came up to me and said, hey, aren't you the guy that caught or maybe it's a triggerfish. Does triggerfish sound familiar? Triggerfish. Maybe it was trigger. Why am I know there's grouper, but I think it was like a triggerfish. I'm very confused what it was. But anyway, he said, you were the one with that fish. And I was like, yeah, that was mine. He said, you won. And I won. It was like, I think there was like 20-something people. or total in there. So I think it was like, $100 or something that I won, or something to that effect. But he just handed me the cash and I'd won, and I was like, took a picture. And then when you get off the boat, they actually clean the fish that I had caught that won with, and they clean it, and then I took it home and put it in the freezer and ate it later when I was living in Florida. But I'll never forget that. So as far as my fishing experience goes, that's probably the biggest and best fishing experience I ever had, was that time. I did go on other fishing trips, but I didn't always get involved in like putting money into the pot. But I did before, but I didn't win ever again. But that was my first time. Never forget that. But thanks for being here, Stop the Lightning. Yasha says, at JBoyHart. Gary says, when are you going to have me on one of your lives? Oh, well, we got to set that up, Gary. We can set it up. I know your times mine are kind of all over the place. I kind of like doing them now. There's other people that I watch usually early in the mornings, but it doesn't matter when we do it. But mine usually go rather longer. So I guess if I'm hosting it, I can have you on it. And that way, if you have to jump ship, you can bail on it and I can keep it rolling. So yeah, we can do that. We'll set it up. Again, I usually go kind of like now, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes I do them at night. Sometimes I do 2 a day. When you're a vlogger, YouTuber, you do your live stream whenever you want. And yeah, that's kind of how it goes, Yeah. Jason Effect says, my wife in the Philippines and I'm coming back to join her in February. Nice, February. My family in the U.S. thinks I'm crazy, but I miss being here and I miss the Philippines. Well, Jason, you're not crazy. My family, my younger sister thought I was crazy, Jason Effect, and she had never even been here. Now, I don't want to talk bad about my sister, but she didn't have many positive things to say, and it was typical of somebody that hadn't been here. But I have to admit, after I did go back to the U.S. In March, and now I'm back here again, she kind of changed her tune and like realized that maybe I didn't make the worst decision in the world by coming here. And sometimes people like to judge and they haven't been here themselves. And so yeah, I'll give her credit. She swallowed her pride and kind of gave me props or credit for coming here. But you're not crazy, you're just living your life. And always remember that. My best advice to you, Jason Effect, is my whole life I always felt like prior to coming to the Philippines, I always did what everybody else wanted me to do, or they guided me to do, or what their expectations are for me to do. So when I reflect back on that time, and I said this previously, I almost feel like I was living the life that everybody else wanted me to live and not what I wanted to live. So for the first time in my life, now, yes, I've made decisions in the past that I made mistakes. I've made decisions in the past that I made good decisions. But making mistakes is a part of life. You gotta make mistakes to be able to learn. I'm not an advocate of making the same mistake over and over again, but that's typically the definition of insanity, is when you keep making the same decisions expecting a different result. But again, Jason Effect, you do what you want to do and what makes you happy. And obviously, you said your wife is in the Philippines. You're coming back to join her in February. And I think sometimes, family or not family, people, they're just jealous too. Not all, I'm just saying some are jealous. Some are jealous of the situation. Some are jealous of the opportunity. Some people are just simply jealous of your happiness because they don't have it. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but some people are. And you know what? Live your life for you. Obviously, she's your wife, so you're not letting everybody dictate your life completely. But I don't think you're crazy. Honestly, I think, you were crazy for not doing what you want to do. Because the only person that can truly talk yourself out of doing things is yourself. So I don't think you're crazy, and you have everybody's support in here, and I welcome you, Jason. What part of the U.S. are you from? Lovely says, got pretty good drawing, Yashas. Yes, he does. Everyone make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, Yashas. Lovely heart. Okay. Brian says, basically a big cod. J-Boy says, grouper fish is delicious. It's called lapu-lapu in Philippines and plenty there. All right. Trigger fish are very colorful. For some reason, I'm thinking it's a trigger now. I remember getting grouper or groupie fish maybe when I was living in Florida, but I'm beginning to think it was a trigger fish. And that's edible, correct, I think. It was a while ago. Brian says, I'm more talking about giant grouper. Yeah, mine certainly wasn't giant. J-Boy says, at Jason Effect, where in the Philippines? Jason says, thanks for that, makes me feel a lot better. Listen, we live our whole lives wanting to live, everybody has these expectations for us. I know I did it. I was guilty of it, Jason. Like, you know, everybody has these great ideas for what you should do. So then you go living your life trying to meet these expectations, hoping you don't disappoint your family, hoping you don't disappoint your friends. And I'm not saying none of those things that my family guided me on, directed me maybe working this job or buying this house or living here or doing this, doing that. I'm not saying that they didn't have positive effects in my life. But when I think back to a lot of the things I did in my life, I never really made a lot of decisions on my own. And when I did make decisions on my own that were successful, it's like, yay, Michael, you made a good decision. You never really heard much about it. Kind of like I was able to enjoy the success myself. But when I made a mistake, oh boy, everybody's so quick to judge. See, you should have listened to me. You should have listened to us. Everybody always knows better. And I'm not saying they do or they don't. But you know what? Once you get a little older, and it's like I'm not going to live my life in the shadow of family and friends and stuff like that. Again, I'm blessed for everything my mother and father has done for me. I'm blessed for any advice or support or opinions my brothers and sisters gave me. But at the end of the day, coming here made me realize how much happier I am, and I made a good decision. I made a great decision, and I'm happy each and every day. And that's the best way I can put it. And you know what? Happiness is a very powerful thing, and it's an emotional thing, and I get fired up, and I can express it on YouTube. I can express it here on the live streams. I can express it to friends and people that I meet randomly here. I can express it on Facebook. I can post my videos of my food, shorts from my YouTube. And the people that respond and like it and give me a thumbs up, those are the people that I know that are the people that truly respect me and are happy for me. It's usually a good indicator of the people that support what you're doing. So I don't mean to ramble on about that. I apologize. But I've learned a lot coming here to the Philippines. It's allowed me to reflect on things, open my eyes to so many things. Oops, I better get my power bank. See, I get talking and forgetting. Gotta put this on, guys, so I'm not disappearing. All right, power bank on. All right, I was down to 24%. That would have been interesting. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna go back to these comments. Hold on. All right, Jason said he feels a lot better. Good. Don't ever feel bad. Please don't do that. You should feel great because you have a wife, you love something. Just feel great. I'm happy for you and I don't even know you. And just because of that, Jason, I gotta give you your blue jacket. Now you're a moderator. Make sure you come back. Don't be a stranger. If you ever have anything to talk about, you're whatever, come here, vent. Det says grilled fish plus tayo, calamansi, silly plus rice equals cravings. That all sounds good to me, Det. Quit making me hungry. Jason, you're from Detroit. So you're currently in Detroit. I assume it's cold, Michigan. I'm born and raised in Pennsylvania, lived in Florida for 2 years, but back to Pennsylvania. I'm beyond the cold stuff, my friend. I'm happier in the warm, hot sunshine, and I'm sure you are too. But thank you for sharing where you're from. Det says, Toyo. Oh, okay, Leyte. Leyte's where you'll be going. That's where your wife is. J Boy says, preach, bro. Yeah, preaching or whatever it is. I just get fired up, my emotions, and I just let it spill. Like I said, I've reflected on so much since being here in the Philippines. You wonder what I do sometimes when I'm walking. If I'm not listening to music, I also listen to the Bible, audio Bible. And then sometimes when it's just silence, I have my AirPods in and I'm just thinking. These are the things that I think about. And then obviously Jason opened the door for me to just spill it. And that's what I did. I just spilled it. So appreciate it, J-Boy. Mike Sommerfeld says, hi Mike, I'm Michael, another Michael. Welcome to the live stream. Where are you from, my friend? Where are you from? J-Boy says, Leyte is a nice province city. I haven't been there yet. I hope to say a lot of places that I can say someday, hey, I've been there. But you know what? There's no rush. I'll get there. Just take care of your health. Keep that in check. So, exercise as much as you can. Eat as well as you can so you can live long enough to experience all this stuff. That's my goal. Jason says, I've been there several times. This time is for good. I'm so well taken care of there and respected. Exactly. Anybody, has any of your family that gives you a hard time there, Jason, have any of them ever been here that think you're crazy? Just curious. Art Park Garden says, listening to you talk about finally being free. It's true in the West. You get pulled into this earn, consume, money, and you really can lose yourself. You're spot on. We're on the same brain wavelength, whatever. You're spot on. Exactly. But you don't really realize it until you come to some place like this. Are there other island locations that maybe have similar situations and have less is more? Yeah, but my vibe came here. My understanding came here. My wake-up call came here. And yeah, I just get passionate about it, and I appreciate it, Art Park, and you're so right. Be thankful you've escaped. Yeah, I'm happy. There's no price on happiness. Jason Effect says, you got it, bro, thanks. And like I said, yeah, anybody wants to reach out, my links are in my bio on YouTube. Don't be a stranger. Never be afraid to make a comment, say what you think or believe, because everybody's free to say and think whatever they want. We're all free to be free and learn things and believe in things, agree to disagree. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we're all still people, and it's just, I don't know. I appreciate the community and the things that I can get from live streams, as well as other people that I've met on YouTube, as well as somebody, perfect example, Jason Effect comes rolling along, says somebody, and his family think he's crazy and this and that, and whatever I said to him, I hope it resonates and it sticks with you, and you're not alone. Although, like I said, my mother and father never had an issue with anything. My younger brother never had an issue with anything. My older sister never really said much of anything. And it was my younger sister. Then my younger sister planted the seed of doubt in everybody's mind, which kind of, was like a bad virus spreading. And then all of a sudden, I'm happy in the Philippines. I'm not coming back with my tail between my legs. I'm blessed for YouTube. I have that experience so I can share and maybe open eyes of other people in the world. And, if you don't want to experience things outside of your comfort zone, that's okay too. But I'm going to keep on sharing and enjoying life and continue to show the journey of a foreigner who took a leap of faith, ended up in the Philippines, and I've made some of the best friends I've ever had. Locals, expats, foreigners, whatever you want to call them. I probably have better friends now in 14 months, going on 14 months, than I ever have in my entire life. That's crazy. I believe it, I feel it, I know it. So let me go back to this. Lovely says, heading out, nice being here. Bye everyone, see you next time. Thank you, Lovelies, thank you for being here. Appreciate your constant continued support. J-Boy says, blue jacket party, of course. And Jason, you're just a prime example. You're gonna fit in just perfectly. You've already been baptized by fire. You've been in the Philippines. You know, you got it. Yeah, it's like don't look back and let people feel the way they want to feel. But again, they might be lacking that happiness that you have, and they miss it. And some people just can't handle it, seeing other people happy. It's unfortunate. They have a bad way of coping with it. But hopefully, you know, they'll see the light, they'll wake up, and someday they'll all come back to you, Jason, and just, you know, be proud of you. And any of the naysayers, change your tune. You know, don't give them an opportunity to say they were right, which they're not going to get that opportunity anyway, because you're already happy. You have a wife. So you said, nope, none of them. They think I'm going to be scammed and kidnapped. My sister thought I was going to be kidnapped, Jason. She said, you're going to get kidnapped, and then they're going to remove your organs and sell them on the black market. I kid you not. That's what she said. That's exactly what she said. And the funny thing all about that is, and I don't mean to ramble, I'll just tell you real quick. She had found a video. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Filipina P. I know her personally. She's a great person. I was blessed to have met her after I came to the Philippines. Anyway, before I came to the Philippines, if anybody watches Filipina P's videos, she's very open, honest, transparent. She tells you the good things about the Philippines, bad things, things to look out for, all sorts of stuff. Well, of course, my younger sister stumbles across her videos and she finds a negative video, although it's not like Filipina P's talking badly about the Dumaguete or the Philippines in general. She's just being insightful. Well, so she sees that video, sends that video to my sister, then my sister and them send it to me, and then to my parents. And as soon as I get this video, I'm like, they're sending me a video of Filipina P, who I was a follower of, subscriber of, still am, friend of hers now. It was hilarious. And like, I watched the video, and she was just saying things you got to look out for, which no matter where you live in the world, you got to look out for that stuff. So long story short, when I met Filipina P, I told her that story. I met her a week or almost not even 2 weeks. I was here in the boulevard here, spoke with her, and I told her the story about my sister and what she said and how she was using a video from Filipina P to discourage me from coming here. And I laughed. I said, you ever watch all of Filipina P's videos? Again, this is before I got here and met her, but I was already a positive supporter, and Filipina P she's awesome. Very open-minded, honest, transparent, shows the good sides, bad sides. Anyway, told P, and P said, the next time you talk to your sister or anybody happen to be on video chat and I'm near you, she said, give me the phone and I'll let everybody know that you're perfectly fine and okay, and kind of laugh. So yeah, that needs to say that never happened. I was never having to be on the phone with my sister, but yeah, crazy kind of world. Yeah, you could be scammed and kidnapped anywhere, not just here. Stone Cold says, I've had to cut ties with my brother and sister. Too much negativity, backbiting, and judgmental behavior. I'm too old for that. Yeah, it's kind of the way I feel. But honestly, I give my younger sister credit. She pulled back. I mean, I don't want to have, for me, the best thing for me to do someday, and I'm just sharing something I've never said, I want to reach out to my younger sister, and I just want to tell her, you know, hey, no hard feelings. I don't want to have that in the back of my mind that I don't communicate with my sister. She still is flesh and blood. She's my sister. And, you know, heaven forbid anything ever happened to her. And then the last memory I have of my sister is fighting with her. I don't want to do that. So that's me. I'm not saying everybody has to be like that, but that's what I want to do. I know I need to do that. I delayed it, but this serves as a reminder. I want to be the better person. You know, like I said, she did swallow her pride when I was last in the U.S., although it still caused a little bit of an argument because I was still, even though she said, oh, Michael, you were right, and, you know, you were smart, judged correctly in your decision, I was quick to say that, yeah, but this is coming from the person that basically thought I was an idiot, crazy and stupid, and I was still hurt by that because I'm older, I'm 55 years old, and I felt like she was insulting my integrity I took it as an insult when she was like that before, and then it was even more insulting to me because she came back and said, you know, she was wrong about what she did, but I still had that bitter taste in my mouth. But anyway, you know, everybody needs to do what's best for them, but that's in my mind and in my heart that I want to mend the fences with my sister. J-Boy says, unfortunately, sometimes the ones closest to us are the ones that drag and hold us back from being happy. And it is sad, J-Boy. It's sad. But again, at least my sister, younger sister, swallowed her pride. I have to give her credit for that because she didn't have to say anything. Sometimes the hardest thing for any of us to do, and I've been there, is to admit when you're wrong. So I know I'm gonna do it at some point. Even if it's just initial text message, just to reach out to her, I'm gonna do it. And maybe with this situation and talking about it right now is maybe what will give me the final push to make amends. But yeah, you don't want that to happen. Jason says, I hope this live stream is recorded. I love to rewatch it from time to time. I needed it today. Thanks so much. Gosh, so inspirational. Well, you know, I'm an emotional person, Jason, and I've told this to people. I don't keep many things inside. I get emotional from the littlest things, and especially being blessed here in the Philippines, I get emotional. I get emotional from the support I get from YouTube, from the kind gestures that I get on YouTube, and just reading that, you saying that chokes me up a bit. It just does, because to me that's like the best thing. Like I always would say to people, if there's this one person that comes in my live stream and I can just affect that person in just the smallest positive way, I've done something. Like I've made a difference. So just hearing you say that is very emotional for me, and it's one of those things that touches me in my heart. And you know, yeah, I don't know how else to put it, but it's truly a blessing. And then you're gonna have to tell me, Jason, Maraming Salamat Po. I've learned Salamat. Thank you, Po, but Maraming, what is Maraming again, please? I apologize for not knowing. It's my bad. But yeah, that comment of yours is probably one of the best I've ever heard anybody say. I mean, I've gotten plenty. Don't anybody ever think I haven't gotten great comments from any of you guys. That just kind of hits home, because that's all I want to do. I just want to show people that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there's nothing wrong with being happy. And unfortunately, sometimes people can be envious of our happiness, and it's sad. Thanks you very much, sir, is the meaning. Hey, thank you, Jason. Well, I've gone about an hour or 130 minutes on this live stream, and I know you guys definitely have the tired of this, but I'll give you one last glimpse. Maybe some rain afar over there, but for the most part, it's a beautiful day here in the Philippines. Blessed to be here, never a dull moment. Always a blessing, always, every day. And I'm blessed for you guys. Dreams, if I didn't know, like I said, these are therapeutic to me. Not that I'm not happy, but it allows me to talk, it allows me to express my feelings, and you guys tolerate it and listen to it and show up each and every day. So I'm blessed. I really am. Gino says, I never know he's even still here, but Gino says, thank you, Michael. Jason says, I'll be back. You earned a new subscriber today. Gino, thanks. It's just a blessing. It really is. But I'm gonna end this live and on a good note. But it's the little things that matter most in life, you guys. Just be good to everybody. Even at times when people are envious and jealous of where you are in life, just love everybody. It's the best thing you can do. Just be nice to everybody. But until the next time, I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for always supporting my channel. God bless you guys. See you later.